What's going on, everyone? Taylor Cowles here for CLNS Media, joined by my CLNS Media family members Brian Hines and Mike Kadlick. We are coming at you live from Gillette Stadium, where we just got out of the final press conference of the Bill Belichick era. Belichick and Kraft spoke to media members, and I want to get your guys' takes because obviously this was a different type of Belichick than we're used to seeing. He was a bit more somber, kind of let us in a little bit, actually got choked up at one point. Obviously started with his dry humor, saying he hadn't seen that many cameras since Tim Tebow was signed. But Brian, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts?
I mean, what were the odds that Tim Tebow would be the only player mentioned in that press conference, right? But yeah, it's an emotional day here at Gillette Stadium and an emotional Bill Belichick, as you expect, especially addressing the Patriots fan base here. And I mean, it was a remarkable 24 years. I mean, remarkable is probably putting it pretty lightly here with 6 Super Bowls. But as he and Robert Kraft alluded to today, it was time to move on, right? We've seen the offensive deficiencies the last few years. It was just time for a split, and it was a mutual parting of ways, as they made it sound. And just best of luck to Bill elsewhere wherever he goes next, and just thank you for a wonderful 24 years.
Yeah, Robert Kraft did say it was going to be tough seeing Belichick in that cutoff hoodie on another sideline, but both sides did emphasize that it was an amicable breakup. Mike, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the reaction is, shocked but not surprised. Like, I still I can't believe we're in front of, the lighthouse here, actually reacting to the fact that Belichick is done with the Patriots. When it came out, it's still kind of like, oh, we're actually talking about this. I think, the word somber was correct for you to say with Bill. He said a little bit more. He actually said he, enjoyed and appreciated what we do as the media, which that was kind of funny. If you go back and watch Kraft's reaction, that's pretty priceless too. But, I think it was time to move on. And, we'll talk about who's next, who will the coaches be and all that. But I think today, as Kraft said too, and Belichick said, this is a day for celebration, and so we should, sit back and think about everything he did for this franchise, because it's truly remarkable, what actually happened here over the last 24 years.
Yeah, I think I could kind of speak for both of you guys when I say we're all still kind of in shock. Yeah. Still processing everything that's going on. But the reality is the Patriots are going to have to start looking ahead at potential head coaching candidates. And there are 2 names that are at the top of that pile if you're kind of thinking about it from an outside perspective. That would be Jerod Mayo, who's already in-house, and Mike Vrabel, who reportedly was fired by the Tennessee Titans in part because he did not refuse or refute reports that he might be coming back to New England after this season. So, Brian, going to go back to you. Who do you think are the top candidates, or maybe the top candidates to potentially replace Bill Belichick?
Yeah, for as much as we'd like a young offensive mind like the league has, that's the path of the successful teams. They get this young offensive coach, pair it with a top quarterback. Obviously, the Patriots have the number 3 pick. So as enticing as an option that is, I would be really surprised if it wasn't someone with ties to the organization. And Jerod Mayo and Mike Vrabel have to be at the top of that list. And I would be surprised if it wasn't Mayo out of those 2. We saw the press release last year with Kraft. We've heard him speak openly, very highly of him, saying he has no ceiling as a head coach. Even talking to some of the players lately in the locker room, just how he's a player's coach. He's kind of a new age Belichick, as they described him. And that defense, we've all talked about that Bill Belichick defense, still really successful last year. He'd keep most of that intact, so that would probably be a good path going forward, and I'd imagine that would be on top of Kraft's wish list.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you like the young offensive minds, but the reality is I think you do want to keep that continuity because of how successful the defense was. And as much as you do want some level of culture change, I think Jerod Mayo gives you that, but at the same time, you keep the things that made the Patriots so successful while obviously changing some things on offense, whether that's retaining Bill O'Brien or potentially bringing somebody else in. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I want Vrabel. Sorry, I just got to say it. I mean, I understand, the infatuation with Mayo, him being here and understanding, the culture, and it would sort of be a continuation of what Belichick has done. But part of me is just like, what? Vrabel has the experience. He's won in this league before. Two seasons in a row, he took the Titans to, I think, he took them to an AFC Championship game. Then they had a 1 seed at one point. And they were 11-5 and 12-5.
Ended Tom's career.
Exactly. Here. Yeah. He ended Tom Brady's career right behind us. And so, he has a little bit more pedigree than Mayo. He has, the experience, and he knows how to win, not only as a coach, but as a player too. I wrote a little bit about that yesterday, just that sort of the drive, and he understands what it takes to win. And so Mayo kind of feels like it's probably going to happen. They're going to obviously have to go through, the steps here and figure out, what's next, go through their interview process and whatnot. But I love the idea of Vrabel coming in and sort of resetting. It's a new regime, but it's also Patriots ties. So I like the idea of Vrabel being here.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either candidate. I think Vrabel obviously gives you the experience and you know what you're getting. But at the same time, Mayo has experience in the system. Players already know him. And at some point, he's got to get a head coaching job. And if Robert Kraft and the Kraft family have faith that he can usher the Patriots into a new era, I'm all for it. Make sure you keep it locked on to Patriots CLNS. We're going to be going live today, keeping you updated with all the news and updates regarding the Patriots in the last days of the Bill Belichick era.
The NFL season is wrapping up, and there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.